Hi, welcome to the practice today. As I was preparing for this practice, a theme kept coming to mind, and it's purpose in this place. So, as we step onto the mats and step into this practice, it's discovering what purpose in this place is for you here and now. I love the quote that's from Steve Jobs, where he talks about life and it being a connection of dot to dots. And our purpose unfolds in the place of the present moment. And when we look back, we can see those dot to dots creating the masterpiece that has brought us to the exact place where we are here and now. But looking forward, we've yet to discover that. But as long as we keep moving in that purpose, we have that presence within the place. So this practice starts in child's pose. We'll just jump right in. The way that the recording works, I'm actually already there and in it. So jump in and enjoy. Extend through the spine. Release the shoulders away from the ears. And just inhale and exhale through the nose. Take just a moment to find the breath. Find the space and place of today. Awakening that heart, letting it stretch itself towards the earth in this space. And then feeling the spine elongate. Visually, not much is happening, but in our minds, we can feel the space coming between each one of our vertebrae. And maybe using these first few moments with the eyes closed, softening the muscles in the face. And taking to the mat that purpose in this place. Letting that speak to you in any way, shape, or form as your intention grows from there. Walking hand over hand to the right corner of the mat, placing the left hand on top of the right and feeling an arching, opening sensation through the left side body. From the hip all the way up to the shoulder, stretch and elongate enough to create additional space right here, right now. And then walking hand over hand back to center. Shifting those arms and legs so that the shoulders are right underneath the wrists and slowly lowering down, squeezing the elbows to the sides of the body, all the way to the mat. Lifting up in a gentle cobra, and then pressing the palms back into the earth, belly and hips lift, and reaching back through child's pose. Shifting forward to tabletop position, the left hand reaches towards the sky and threads underneath the right, resting the left shoulder on the earth and extending those right fingertips out towards the sky. Good, those fingertips can stay extended, maybe lifting upwards, possibly wrapping around, connecting into the pocket of that left hip. Feeling that space, releasing the shoulder away from the ear.
Beautiful. And just breathing in that sensation. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And then taking those right fingertips back onto the mat, bending the elbows so that they're directly underneath the elbow, and shifting to all fours. Releasing back, child's pose. Hand over hand walks, this time to the left corner. Opening through the right side body. Stretching and elongating from that shoulder all the way into the hip. And again, noticing that space that we're creating within the breath, within the present moment. Hand over hand comes back to center. We gaze towards the fingertips and shift ourselves to the kneeling plank, squeezing the elbows to the sides of the body, lowering all the way down, lifting up in a gentle cobra, pressing those palms into the earth, hips lift, and we reach ourselves back, child's pose. Centering back up to tabletop position. This time the right hand reaches towards the sky, and then we exhale, thread underneath the left arm, resting on that right shoulder, extending those left fingertips along the mat, up to the sky in that right hip pocket. The left fingertips come right underneath the left shoulder. We press into the palm and find ourselves in a tabletop position. This time, kind of checking in with the spine and just moving from one direction to the other. Just a little rhythm and flow, kind of a circular direction, and just noticing anything that might feel tight or stiff. Maybe it's shifting from shoulder to hip and shoulder to hip. But again, just awakening that spine, finding the purpose in this place. And then centering everything up, curling the toes under, and with a nice inhale, opening through the lungs, and then exhaling, rounding through the spine, finding that cat position. Inhaling, releasing, lowering the top to the feet down and feeling cow. And then exhale, rounding into that cat. Inhaling, flattening those feet and feeling the cow. Exhaling, rounding through cat. Table. And then we keep the knees bent. We keep the hands and feet exactly where they are and shift our hips to a tiger dog. So it's just like inhale, floating table. Exhale, tiger dog. And really open that space between each of the vertebrae. Inhale, floating table. Exhale, tiger dog. Staying in tiger dog. And then extending those legs, adjusting as we need to find that downward facing dog. The first one of the practice today. So we're building some warmth. Again, pedaling through those feet. Maybe we're shifting through the knees and hips. And just awakening, building some fluidity throughout that physical body today. Noticing that just as we can create fluidity and flexibility in our physical body, we can create that in our minds and in our spirits as well. Releasing those heels towards the earth. Bringing both of those big toes together. Gazing at the palms, soft bend in the knees, and then just stepping forward towards the hands. Inhaling, half fold. Exhaling all the way. Inhaling, coming all the way up. Looking gently up towards the sky for just a moment, and then exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to that kneeling plank that we're familiar with, or the toes. From here, we lower down to that cobra that we're familiar with, or we travel ourselves halfway and then carry ourselves forward to upward facing dog. Exhaling and releasing, working through child's pose, or just directly going into downward facing dog. Big toes together, soft bend in the knees, gaze at the fingertips, and gently step or hop towards those palms. Extending the legs, half lift, exhale, forward fold, inhale, coming all the way up. Beautiful, we'll go through that. A few more breaths, exhaling towards the earth. Inhaling, half lift, exhale, step back, kneeling or toe plank. Lower to the earth through cobra, or halfway, reaching forward, upward facing dog. Exhale, lifting those hips, coming back, downward facing dog. Big toes together, half lift, exhale, forward fold, and inhale, coming all the way up. So as we start to use this practice, this sun salutation in a vinyasa class, inhale, half lift, exhale, step back, plant, knees or toes. We're finding that connection of uniting the breath with the body. Yoga means unite or connect. And as we reach back in that downward facing dog, we really start to come into those connections, those places and spaces within us. Soft bend in the knees, gaze at the hands, step or hop towards the palms. Beautiful, legs extend, half lift, exhale, forward fold, inhale, coming all the way up. One more time through. Exhaling, forward fold. And see and feel the purpose, not only in these postures that we hold, half lift, plant the hands, step back, but in the transitions, that space in between as we're going from one place into the next. Good. Finishing your last salutation in downward facing dog. And just breathing in this space, maybe closing the eyes, shaking the head no and yes, to release any tension through the neck. And using that breath to connect the mind to the body, to this place. Feeling the purpose in this place. Beautiful. Keep inhaling and exhaling in that downward facing dog. And then gently lift your right leg up towards the sky. Right leg lifts up towards the sky. And we pull the right knee over to the left elbow. Good. Inhaling, right leg up towards the sky. Exhaling, draw that right knee to the right elbow. Inhaling up towards the sky. Exhaling, the right knee comes in between the hands, and we can use a foot to help draw it there. Release the back leg down, And come up, extending through the torso, relaxing those shoulders away from the ears, and just checking in to make sure that knee and ankle are in a nice alignment with one another. From here, those left fingertips walk to the outer corner on the left side. And maybe this is just a couple handprints in that diagonal direction. Maybe we're walking along that left diagonal a little bit further and resting onto the forearms. But take that space as it speaks to you and just breathe in those sensations through the hips, the legs, the body. Just notice. Beautiful, lengthening through that spine, leading with the heart. As much as it wants to round and contract back, practice leading with that heart. And then walking hand over hand between the right leg, curl the left toes under, extend the left leg, and power yourself up to high lunge. As needed. And then extend those arms up to the sky. And maybe for today, we take those arms behind us, wrapping elbow to elbow. Feeling that opening sensation through the front side of the body. Keeping the arms connected where they are and lifting and opening the hips into warrior two. Now facing the side, the right toes point forward, the left toes are slightly parallel to the back of the mat or slightly turned in. Good, and we just, again, feel the purpose in this warrior two without those arms as levers. Taking that gaze along the front. And breathing in the purpose of this place. Noticing in our practice that we connect dots of movement. We're connecting dots from one place to the next. Not knowing them in advance, but as we stay present, each dot is significant in its own way. Releasing those fingertips from one side to the other. The right palm rotates towards the sky, and we lift up reverse warrior. Again, maybe we step into that traditional space and place with those arms, but maybe we bring elbow to elbow above us, right elbow pocket. Yes. And then from here, extending to side angle. However it speaks for us, maybe resting a hand on the thigh, maybe extending the right arm along the inside of the leg, possibly extending those fingertips above us or wrapping into a half bind. We might even enjoy feeling that full body. But knowing whichever one we choose with intention. We create and breathe on purpose. Those right fingertips are, release them towards the mat, and keep those left fingertips raised or wrapped behind, either one. From here, turn the head and gaze back down towards the earth, and then slowly shift into that right leg. Shift the right fingertips forward, shift into the right leg, and find balancing half moon. Stacking the shoulders, stacking the hips, bending that supporting leg as much as we need, maybe even keeping that back leg on the earth for added balance. Just breathing in those sensations as they come up. Keeping that left arm either extended or wrapped behind us. Beautiful. Fold the left foot in towards the earth. And then release the left arm towards the earth. Releasing the head, neck, and shoulders. And really allowing our body to just drape itself over that clothesline. Feeling that sensation, the weight is in the balls of our toes. And we really allow that head, neck, and shoulders to just soften and hang. From here, soft bend in the knees, inhaling half lift, exhale forward fold, and then inhaling coming all the way up towards the sky. The left leg, knee bends and brings itself directly in front. Hands maybe on the hips for balance or wherever they feel good. But that left knee is up to the front. Good. In this space, let's take both of those hands to a cactus arm, goalpost position. And then gaze and twist over the left shoulder. So we're twisting toward that leg that's lifted. The right fingertips gently lower to the outside of the left leg, maybe for a little added support. Maybe a deeper expression is extending that left leg in front of us and extending that left arm behind us. From here, we teeter-totter our body weight, swinging the left leg through and finding warrior three. Maybe tapping that left toe on the earth behind us. Maybe lifting a few inches or possibly coming perpendicular or parallel to the earth. And then playing with those hands. We can wrap them elbow to elbow behind us. Maybe that goalpost cactus arm speaks to us today. But find what feels good for you. Maybe it's the hands at heart center. And then planting everything towards the earth, lifting up towards the sky, toe heeling those feet together, and having a seat in chair. And as we feel this chair again, playing with those arms. Are they wrapped? Are they extending? Close the eyes and feel the connection of the feet on the earth. The heart open. And the crown of the head reaching towards the sky. Circle sweep everything all the way up, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands and step back. Toe or kneeling plank. And then lower to the earth, however it speaks to you. Lifting up, cobra or upward facing dog. And then releasing back, downward facing dog or child's pose. So we can take downward facing dog or child's pose. Whichever one speaks to you in this space and place. Find what feels good. Breathe it in. Dog or the child's pose. Close the eyes again. And come back to purpose in this place right here and now. What is that intention for the practice that you've given yourself permission to experience today? Come back to it. If we're not already there, curl the toes under and lift the hips. Downward facing dog. This time the left leg lifts up towards the sky and we bring the left knee over to the right elbow. Inhaling towards the sky, the left knee comes to the left elbow. And inhaling, left leg to the sky. We come all the way through, using a hand as we need to bring that left leg forward. Relax that right knee, top of the foot, onto the earth. And bring hand over hand in our kneeling lunge. Release those shoulders away from the ears, soften any of the tension in the upper body. And then hand over hand, walks to this right diagonal. Maybe it's just a step. Maybe we creep a little more. But as much as the back wants to pull and round, we take our heart and we allow the heart to lead. As much as our mind wants to separate, we remember that the heart and mind connection is where that calm and stillness thrive. Hand over hand, and come back. Balancing between either side of the left foot, curling the right toes under and extending the right leg, powering up to that lunge position. And again, adjusting however our bodies speak. Maybe extending those fingertips, or maybe today, maybe just today, we wrap those elbows to elbows. Those hands staying connected, elbow to elbow, lifting and opening the hips to warrior two. So check in with the feet. The left toes and knee are in alignment, pointing straight forward. The right toes parallel or slightly turning in. Good. And even with those hands wrapped, take the gaze over the left shoulder out in front of us. And feeling the dynamic energy of those feet rooting and grounding, and the lengthening and extension of the heart and the mind. All of that happening in the present space we have. All of that being created right here in this place. Extend those arms, fingertip to fingertip. Left palm rotates towards the sky. And we reach up, finding reverse warrior. Again, feeling those traditional arms as they speak to us, or maybe wrapping elbow to elbow this time. Taking that opposite elbow, wrap, and then gazing into the pocket of the left elbow. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Releasing those hands and traveling into our side angle, extending either on the thigh, possibly with those fingertips to the inside of the leg. Those right hands possibly extending or wrapping behind us in a half bind. Maybe even today, feeling that full bind. But enter that place that gives your body purpose today. We can take that gaze towards the earth, center it out along the horizon, or maybe looking up towards the sky. If our gaze isn't already there, turn it towards the mat and release those left fingertips wherever they are. Those left fingertips gently creep forward as we slowly transition ourselves to that balancing half moon. Again, bending the knee as much as we need, using the back toe for support, using that connection with the earth as it speaks to us. Maybe keeping the right arm wrapped, the gaze just to follow as it speaks to us today. Giving ourselves permission to come to a place of trust, where maybe we don't know that next step, but we trust in the space that we're in. We trust that we'll know what we need to know when we need to know it. And those right fingertips possibly extend, but we fold everything back to the earth. Feeling that forward fold, releasing the head, neck, and shoulders, maybe keeping a soft bend in the knees as we drape ourselves in that clothesline position. And maybe even allowing ourselves to grab elbow to elbow overhead, or possibly connect behind us. Just noticing the difference in those sensations. If those hands aren't already there, releasing them to the earth, inhaling a half lift, exhaling forward fold, and then inhaling, reaching everything up towards the sky. Beautiful. Those hands coming down to the heart, and then opening in that cactus arm place. The right leg comes up, bending through the knee, feeling that sensation. We begin the rotation, looking over the right shoulder. Left fingertips extend to the outer part of the right leg. We can stay in this hinged position, or for different expression, possibly extending the right leg, extending the right arm. Breathing in that space. And then pendulum swinging to warrior three. Taking that transition, feeling the purpose, and moving with intention. Moving on purpose. Slowing it all down. And taking those arms wherever they speak to you. Noticing just as much as we get there, it's really about the journey, the discovery, and that space that we hold in between every step. From here, shifting both of those legs towards the earth, toe heeling them together, and bending into chair. Leading with the heart, engaging through the belly, and letting those hands continue to play where they speak today. Sweeping everything down and up towards the sky. Nice inhale through the nose. Exhale, forward fold. Everything coming down. Inhale, half lift. And then exhale, step back. Toe or kneeling plank. Lower to the earth. Cobra or upward facing dog is what lifts us up. And then releasing back. Downward dog or child's pose. Choosing one to stay in for about 5 breaths. 5 yoga breaths. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Breathing on purpose. Breathing with intention. Feeling the circular rhythm of the breath. As soon as we come into the top of that inhale, we begin to release into the exhale. As soon as we come into the bottom of that exhale, we circulate ourselves into the inhale. And on this last breath, if we're not already there, come into downward facing dog. Check with those feet. This time those downward facing dog feet, bring them shoulder distance apart. And with that inhale, feeling a nice rise in the breath, the inside of the body. And then exhale, reaching those right fingertips towards the left leg so they could come up to the thigh, possibly to the outside of the shin, possibly towards the ankle, and then we just draw it back. Inhaling this time, exhaling the left fingertips over to the right side, connecting with the thigh, calf, or possibly down towards the ankle, and then placing back on the inhale. Exhaling right hand to the left side, inhaling it back to place. Exhaling one last time, left hand to the right. Inhaling it back to place. Beautiful. Bending those knees and reaching back, child's pose. Lifting the hips and shifting to an upright position with those sit bones on the mat and adjusting for just a moment. Those fingertips are going to plant behind us, pointing forward towards our spine. And we'll extend the right leg and keep the left leg bent. And just gently lift the hips up towards the sky. It's kind of a half tabletop, half plank opening position for the heart. Neck, shoulders, and chest. That height as it speaks. Releasing down, countering this by pulling ourselves together, grabbing underneath those hamstrings and finding boat. Maybe those legs stay connected, the back is long, maybe they lift off. Possibly extending, possibly letting go. But just breathe in that sensation. Again, leading with the heart as much as it wants to round, extending. Beautiful. And then everything releases down, those Right leg is bent, left leg extended. We pull ourselves up into that half reverse table, half reverse plank. Beautiful. Everything reaches down and find your boat to float. 2 more breaths. Beautiful. Release. Bringing those knees together. Excuse me, feet together, knees apart. That's where we're headed. A little butterfly. Rock side to side. Coming onto those sit bones. Just feeling the extension of the spine in this space. Beautiful. And then gently drawing those knees together and rolling yourself down onto the mat. So just make sure you've got somewhere to land for that head. We can take one vertebrae nice and slow, or we can work through a side lying position to bring us down. Either one. Either way we get there. We come into this final space. The knees are pointed up towards the sky, and those feet, we just toe heel them to the outer edges of the mat, and then let the knees fall together. The hands come back up into those cactus arms, and we just rotate those windshield wipers, letting those knees fall to the right, and bring them back up, and then they fall to the left. Just like windshield wipers, we continue. We let them fall to the right. Then we lift and we let them fall to the left. Beautiful. Pulling those knees into the chest, wrapping underneath the hamstrings and giving ourselves one last hug. Extending the heels of our legs up towards the sky and just feeling an awakening sensation through the back sides of the legs. Beautiful. And then allowing those legs to fold back down and release all the way to the mat. The feet fall open on the outer edges of the mat. The palms open. Closing the eyes. And just imagine that I was gently walking around and guiding those shoulders into their back pockets, creating space between the shoulders and the ears so they can find their purpose and place. Gently floating, the eyes closed, coming into a relaxing breath, 3-part breath. Inhaling from the belly, the ribs, and the chest. And then exhaling from the chest, the ribs, back into the belly. Drawing awareness with this full 3-part breath. Inhaling from the belly, the ribs, and the chest. And feeling the body expand away from the earth on that inhale. And then exhale from the chest, the ribs, and the belly. That contraction brings it back closer towards the spine and the earth. And then inhaling, belly, ribs, chest. Exhaling from the chest, the ribs, back into the belly. And just for a moment today, with those eyes closed and the body softening, take an inventory. Notice anything that's still feeling tight. Internally draw your mind to that space. Use the breath to just soften that tightness. Breathe into it. Notice the muscles in your face. Are they holding tension? And could they relax and release? Notice anything that still feels tight and allow it to just soften and relax, connecting that earth, place, and space. And with those eyes closed, find that place, that purpose, right here. And as your mind softens into that place, trying to answer the question of what is that purpose? Without any movement, draw your full mind to your heart. As if you could feel the inner workings of your heart beating. And as if you can feel the inner workings of your breath flowing with that heart. Oftentimes, most of the time, without a second thought. But here, right now, we bring awareness to that heart and that breath. That intentionally give. That intentionally connects our minds with our bodies and our spirits. And as we continue thinking, feeling ourselves inwardly, we draw those thoughts of gratitude for this heart space and this breath of life. Breath with intention is a softener. It's a tool to connect. It's a tool to redirect. It's a tool to respond instead of react. Breath becomes a tool, a life force that enables our minds to come back into our hearts. It enables that connection to be one. And that connection to be one not only with ourselves, but with our higher power, with our Savior, Jesus Christ. Noticing that as we soften that space of the heart and intentionally connect that breath, we feel that space and place exactly where we are. As you're ready, wiggle those fingers and toes and come over to a side lying position and then work yourself up to an upright seated position. Stacking those shoulders over the hips and the heads over the shoulders. The hands connecting to the knees to receive or opening those palms to the sky. I said that backwards. Those hands to the knees for grounding or the palms up towards the sky for receiving, or maybe we take one of each. With the eyes closed and feeling that connection of the mind, the body, the spirit, not only in us as individuals, but in us all in purpose, all finding our way and our light in this place. We'll finish the practice with just 3 breaths today, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Noticing that the breath both gives and receives. Inhaling and exhaling. Feeling that purpose, that life beat to both give and receive, however that speaks to us today. And with that last exhale, drawing the hands to the heart. The light within me honors the light within each of you. Thank you so much for joining in this practice. Namaste.
Namaste.